work through some of these together, not all of them, but a select number of them. We are going to be taking a look today on this Bigfoot sheet, our day 2 review of equations. Val, you need to be watching this. I don't know what you're messing with, but we're going to work on several of these just because I want to be sure that you don't have things that are going to drive you too crazy. I think if we hit up the ones that I'm circling, we should have you on a pretty good kickstart of things. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we're going to start up the top here. My first goal always, and it still is today, is to get that x term by itself if it isn't. Now we're going to be nice, because in number 3 it already is. Okay? But in some of these other ones, we're going to have some work to do. So I would suggest boxing those in just to remind you of what things are going to look like, or how we're going to do them. So, number 1, I got to get that box by itself. That minus 9 is kind of in my way. What's the opposite of minusing 9 to something? Plus 9. Okay, addition. I do it once to each side. X over 2 equals 15. Right, because now, what's being done to x? I'm dividing by 2. What's the opposite of dividing by 2? Timesing by 2. So I'm going to times both sides of my equation by 2. This 2 here on the side with x, its whole job in life is just to cancel out that other 2. Okay? Don't turn it into 2x. Then what's 15 times 2 going to be? 30. And I'm going to apologize in advance. I don't know quite what happened, but you'll notice my little letters chart here on the right does not match up. I think what I might have done is I might have put a chart in from a different worksheet. So like 30 is not on this sheet. And we did it right. So I don't know what's going on. So the little list on the right is not going to help us out a whole lot. Oh boy, number 3. Right now, am I subtracting 5 from x or multiplying by negative 5? Okay, I'm multiplying because the minus isn't in between 5 and x. If it was between, I'd be, minus. But since it's out here, I'm multiplying. So what's the opposite of multiplying by negative 5? Division. It's all about opposites on these. And it's exactly the same as what we talked about on Friday. If you understand your basic opposites, and I'm going to use this area up here to do this, if I always know that if I'm adding something and I want to cancel it out, I subtract, or if I'm multiplying by something and I want to get rid of it, I divide, that's what we're on the lookout for here. Okay? If I can remember just those 2 things, equations don't end up being quite so bad, at least as far as the basics go. But 5, we're back to having to deal with the box. How do I get the plus 7 out of there? Subtract it. Now I got what was in my box by itself. 23 minus 7 is 16. I'm multiplying x by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Again, we're just trying to get x completely by itself. What's 16 divided by negative 2? You kind of start to see where we're heading. Okay, 8, same deal. How do I get rid of that minus 6 that's not in the box? Okay, the opposite of minusing 6 is to add it. That's okay. Negative 6 plus 6. A whole lot of 0. Now, just so we stay consistent here, what's my last step? What should my last step be? The opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide by 4. I end up with a 0. But it's just a process, just like anything else happens to these equations. Just kind of working our way through them as we go. We'll move up here a little bit. And again, don't get worried if sometime you get a fractional or a decimal type answer. That's not a bad thing. For instance, 13. Oh my gosh, it's a decimal. I want to get that decimal that's with x alone first. How do I get the -2 out? Plus it. This is definitely needed with a calculator here. -0.4. So since I'm multiplying by 0.1x, what's the opposite? It's 5. It is. It's going to be positive or -4? Negative. So if I punch in -0.4, divide by positive 0.1, I end up with -4. Okay, so don't let that intimidate you either. You can. Yes. Yeah, you can get fractional or decimal answers on these. That does happen sometimes. So yeah, don't let that make you think that you did something wrong necessarily. But you start to see like, okay, how do I get rid of the +5? Subtract it. That first step, it looks like, just continues to be add or subtract. And that's going to be the case mode. So now what's my opposite? What's that? Multiply. Opposite divide is multiply. 3 times 2 is 9. Happy and ready to go. One more specific one I wanted to look at here. The very last one. Scooch up just a bit. 3/4 minus x equals 4. Now some of you fractions are not your friend. So, absolutely, I agree. In this case, we're going to turn it into a decimal. So if you take your calculator and you hit 3 divided by 4 and hit enter, like you would with the fractions, 0.75. So we're going to look at this problem this way. But I still need to work on getting x by itself. So I have a positive 0.75 that I'm adding to that right now. We have to minus that. And with that negative x, I got to remember there's like a 1 that's there with it. So I actually have one step to go on this one. What's the opposite of multiplying x times -1? Divide it. I run out of room to put my answer, so I'll put it up here. Okay. So that's what we're doing on these. That's why we keep going with all this stuff with equations. Okay? And we're going to be working with the equation stuff today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday we're going to start trying to blend in a little bit with inequalities doing the same thing. Yeah. Well, that's good. So that's kind of what we're on the lookout for. So again, once you're done with this now, you've got, some of you have the homework check to work on to get something in. Some of you may have the chapter test to finish. Some of you may just be finishing this or finishing Friday's work. Whatever it is, make sure that you've got the sheet from the front and that you are working on getting things done. If it turns into social hour, you will leave. Okay? Social hour, not going to fly. So please, if you could, make sure you're working on something. If you're stuck, work with someone. But if it just turns into and mess around, it's not going to happen. So thank you very much.